How many times have you heard someone say, "Stop judging me. Jesus said not to do that"? Perhaps you said it yourself. But what did Jesus actually say? Let's take a look. Do not judge lest you be judged, Matthew 7:1. However, Jesus also said, do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment, John 7:24. He says not to judge, but he says you are to judge. What are you supposed to do? Let's make sure we have our view of this in line with the teaching of Jesus. Let's start with Matthew 7:1. This is a great place to learn about the importance of context, because Jesus isn't saying you should never judge. If that were the case, he would be contradicting his own statement in John 7:24. The context presents Jesus telling us when one should not judge. Let's read on. Do not judge lest you be judged. For in the way you judge, you will be judged, and by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. And why do you look at the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, and behold, the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Notice at the end of this reading that there is to be an effort to remove the speck from the brother's eye. The problem with judging is when you have a problem, perhaps larger than your brother, and you set about to pick at his little problem. You won't fix your own life, but now you're going to tell your brother how he ought to live his life. That's a far cry from telling people they should never judge anyone else. In John 7:24, we have the problem of judging a matter superficially. In other words, not having all the facts. In context, Jesus is addressing their hypocrisy of condemning his healing a man on the Sabbath, when they, in fact, would practice circumcision on the same day. Jesus looked like a Sabbath breaker on the surface, but looking more deeply, one could easily see reasons for certain activity on the Sabbath. None of this means a person must be perfect and free of sin or problems before he can point out the error of another. It really comes down to whether or not we're trying to keep ourselves free of the specks and logs. And are we really trying to help someone when we point out an error in their lives? Or are we trying to boss them around as if we're better or superior? Next time you're tempted to pull out the judging card to silence someone, stop and listen. Do they have scripture for the point that they're making? If there's a disagreement here, perhaps you need to help them understand what scripture really does say. Or could it be they're correct, but making an accusation of judging is your only way out? If so, then their judging you now is nothing compared to what the Lord may do with you on the judgment day.